Let's welcome back the former mayor of Shiloh, Israel, and the author of the book, The Islamic Tsunami. Back in the midpoint, David Rubin joins us. Mayor Rubin, let's get right to the point here when it comes down to what we had discussed in the last segment. Is it your belief that the people of Israel would be in favor of a first strike if it meant going after their enemies right now, line up the military, go for it, no matter what the international community believes or thinks?
Well, in order to answer that question, I have to remind you why the State of Israel was reestablished. The State of Israel was reestablished because the Jewish people were defenseless around the world. The State of Israel was reestablished after hundreds of years of persecution and eventually a Holocaust, when 6 million Jews were killed. Now that we're back in Israel as a sovereign nation once again, we are determined, and we proclaim the slogan, never again, that never again will we be silent when the Jewish people are defenseless. And that's why the State of Israel was created. Now, we're a sovereign nation, and we're prepared to defend ourselves if we have to.
Well, then let me just get to the point then. When it comes down to the international community, then it would be your belief, your opinion, that the people of Israel would back their government if they said, we are going to war right now in a first strike against any of the aggressors.
Absolutely. Although in many cases, we wouldn't make an announcement, we would just go ahead and do it. And if you look at the history of Israel, of the State of Israel, where Iraq's nuclear reactor was attacked and destroyed, where Syria's nuclear reactor was attacked and destroyed, those nuclear reactors were being built to destroy Israel. And those nations stated it very clearly. We acted quickly, we acted decisively, and we were victorious. And in the Six-Day War as well, where we won the war in 6 days, and on the seventh day we rested, and we recaptured much of Israel's biblical heartland.
Then let me ask, with regard to something that the Americans have said here, and again, I alluded to this earlier on, the possibility that President Obama may consider some sort of sanctions against Israel. What effect would that have on the people of Israel and their opinion towards the United States government? I guess my question would be, could it get any worse?
Well, people would understand that it's an act of total injustice. The American people are very fair people and are people that understand that Israel is fighting the battle for freedom here in the Middle East. I think Obama would be hurting Hillary Clinton more than anyone else by declaring sanctions against Israel.
How so?
Because people would understand that this is the president of the Democratic Party, and if he is declaring sanctions against America's only real ally in the Middle East, then he's going to be hurting his party. He's going to hurt the Democratic Party because it would be blatantly clear that the Republicans are the party that stands with Israel.
Is that the general consensus now in Israel, that the Republicans are the party that stands with you? And would that also then move forward to those Jews who are living in America?
Well, more so and more so. It's becoming clearer than ever that the Republican Party stands with Israel. At least it's clear to most Jews who live in Israel. As far as the American Jews, well, that would be a topic for a separate program, Ed. The American Jews, unfortunately, are so bound, at least about 75% of them are so bound to the Democratic Party. You would think that they were connected to the Democratic Party in their umbilical cords. But I would hope that American Jews, if they feel a strong bond with Israel, would understand that a president that declares sanctions against the State of Israel is not a friend of theirs.
I have about 30 seconds left. Benjamin Netanyahu has dissolved the nation's parliament. Effectively, Israel is in a state of political paralysis until March. Are the people there in favor of this? Because to some outsiders, it looks like a power play from Benjamin Netanyahu to stay in power.
Oh, I don't think it's a power play. In all fairness to the Prime Minister, there were some very, very strong tensions within the governing coalition. There were two political parties that were pulling his coalition all the way to the left, and there were three political parties that that were more right of center. And that was the real issue here. The prime minister found that the governing coalition just couldn't function, and he decided to turn it back to the people. So that's what we do in any free society. You turn it back to the people, you have free elections, and let the people decide.
All right. Mayor Rubin, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show with your frank comments. Thank you again for joining us, and we wish you and your family safe times in Israel.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Coming up, we're learning more about the report outlining what some lawmakers referred to as torture tactics used in interrogations following the 9/11 terror attacks. A former CIA analyst weighs in. And Bill Nye the Science Guy is later, right here on MidPoint.